Hello everyone. I am Assistant Professor Mahesh Machendra Kutwad, Department of Agronomy, College of Agriculture, Mirajgaon. So today we discuss our next topic, lecture number 7, study of efficient cropping system and allied enterprises. In that topic, efficient cropping system means the cropping system for a particular farm depends on farm resources, enterprises, and farm technology because farm is a organized economical unit. Farm resources includes land, labor, water, capital, and infrastructure. When land is limited, intensive cropping is adaptable to fully utilize available water and labor. When efficient and cheap labor available, vegetable crops are also included in the cropping system as they require more labor. Capital intensive crop like sugarcane, banana, turmeric, etc. found a space in a cropping system when capital is not a constraint. In low rainfall regions, 750 millimeter per annum, monocropping is followed, and when rainfall is more than 750, intercropping is practiced. So monocropping means one crops is growing in one season or one year, and intercropping two or more crops are growing simultaneously with uh, distinct row pattern of particular two crops. With sufficient irrigation water, triple and quadruple cropping is adapted when other climatic factors are not limiting. Farm enterprises like dairy, poultry, etc. also influenced by the type of cropping system. On the basis, the country may be divided into broadly into five agriculture regions. First, the rice region, extending from the eastern part to include a very large part of the north eastern and the southern eastern India, with another strip along the western coast. The wheat region occupies most of the northern, western, and central India. Then, third, see the millet sorghum region comprises Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Deccan Plateau in central of the Indian peninsula. D. The temperate Himalayan region in that Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttar Pradesh, and some adjacent area. Here, potatoes are as important as cereal crops, which are mainly maize and rice, and the tree fruits from a large part of the agricultural production. And fifth one, E, the plantation crop regions of Assam and the hill of southern India, where good quality tea is produced. There is an important production of high quality coffee in the hills of western peninsula India. Rubber is mostly grown in Kerala and part of Karnataka and also Tamil Nadu. There are some large states, but most of the grower would come under the categories of small holders. Sugarcane, which is an main many countries is a plantation crops is almost entire grown in a small holder in India. Cattle rearing Cattle rearing in India is carried out under a variety of climatic and environmental conditions. The cattle are broadly classified into three groups. First, draft breeds that bullock of the breeds are good draft animals, but the cows are poor in milker. For example, Nagori, Hilakar, Kangayam, Mali, these are the drought breeds. Then dairy breeds, the cows are rich milk yielders, but the bullocks are of poor draft quality. For example, Sahiwal, Sindhi, and Gir. Dual purpose cow. The cows are fairly good milker and the bullocks are with good draft work capacity. Haryana, Ongal, and Kankrej. Then exotic breeds. The exotic breeds are a high milk yielder. Example: Jersey, Holstein Friesian, Ayrshire, Brown Swiss, and Jersey. Buffaloes. Important dairy breeds of buffalo are Murrah, Nili Ravi, which has a home track in Pakistan. Nili and Ravi, this is the one of the area of rivers Nili Ravi, and this adjacent area, this is the home track of Nili Ravi breed. Mehsana, Surti, Jafrabadi, and Godavari or Badavari. These are the different kind of breeds, important breeds of buffaloes. Housing: each cow requires 12 to 18 square meter space and buffaloes needs 12 to 15 square meter. It is the important to provide good ventilation and an open shade of housing is always preferable. Dairy breeding Dairy building should be located at an elevated place to facilitate easy drainage. Breeding and maintenance. The cow remain in milk for 6 to 10 months. The average calving interval being 16 to 18 months. A cow does not require more than 6 to 8 weeks for of dry period. From the economic point of view, the cow should ordinarily be bred during the second and third month after calving. In weak animals and heavy milker breeding may be delayed in by 1 to 2 months. Cattle come to heat in a more or less regular cycle of about 21 days, which lasts for about a day. Breeding cattle feed regularly contains fibrous, porous land, low nutrient straw material called refuges and concentrates. Refuges, dairy cattle are efficient use of refuges and convert large quantities of relatively inexpensive refuges into milk. Refuges are basic for cattle retention and include legumes, non-legumes, hay, straw and silage of legume and grasses. Concentrates, grains and byproducts of grains and oilseeds constraints. These constraints are concentrates. They are extensively used in dairy cattle ration. This includes cereals like maize, sorghum, oat, and barley. Cotton seeds, industrial waste, so bran of wheat, rice, gram husk, and cake of oil seeds like groundnut, sesame, rapeseeds, soybean, and linseeds. They also oil cakes having a good nutrition for the cattle. We call the concentrates. The vitamin and mineral mixtures. It is it advisable to feed the supplement containing vitamin A and D. The minerals mixtures containing salt, calcium, and phosphorus should also be provided in the ration. Goat rearing in India, activity of goat rearing is sustained in different kind of environment, including dry, hot, wet, and cold, high mountain or low lying plains. The activity is also associated with a different systems such as crop or animal breed based pastoral or secondary single animal or fixed. Here, small or large scale goat is mainly reared for milk, hide, and skin. Breeds. There are nearly 102 breeds of goat in the world, of which 20 breeds are in India according to the purpose. Following are the important breeds in India: milk and meat dual purpose breeds Usmanabadi, Barbary, Jamnapari, Sangamneri, Mehsa, Jalwadi, Beetle, Ajmeri, Kachni. These are the dual purpose breeds. Then meat purpose Assam, Kali, Bengali, brown Bengali, and Marwadi. Then wool purpose Angora, Gaddi, and Pashmina. Housing for the goats. Goats are be maintained under still feeding conditions. Successful goat rearing depends on selection of site. Goats do not thrive on marshy or swampy ground. Ground goats are to be provided with a dry, comfortable, safe, and secure place, free from worms and affording the protection from excessive heat and inclement weather. The kids are kept under large inverted baskets until they are old enough to run along their mothers. Breeding and maintenance. Goats mature in about 6 to 7 months. Breeding is allowed for buck at 1 year and due after 10 months of age. Gestation period is 145 to 155 days. It gives birth to 1 to 3 kids per time. The kids can be weaned after 30 to 45 days. Feeding for gut. The per head requirement of nutrient in respect of goats is relatively low, hence they are suitable for the resource poor farmers and marginal grazing lands. They are essentially browsers and initially browsers and eat which may which any other animals would not touch. Goats eat 4 to 5 times of their body weight, and since the profit depends on the weight addition, adequate production and calories should be given to goats. They eat more of the tree fodder and the rest with other grass species. Sheep rearing, another one of the efficient cropping system or farming system, and that breeds of Indian sheep. There are three types of sheep in India based in geographical division of country. First, the dry temperate Himalayan regions, Gurej, Karna, Bhakarwal, Gaddi and Rampur, Baisur. These are the breeds. The dry western region, Lohi, Bikaneri, Marwai, Kutechi and Kathiwari. These are the dry western region breeds majorly in Rajasthan area. Then southern region, Deccani, Nellore, Bellary, Mandya and Bandur. These are the southern regions breeds. Breeding and maintenance. One ram can be maintained for 40 to 50 ewes. Ram are liable to floating fen, two or more of them they are put in a pen. Unlike other farm animals, ewes is general do not come in heat at a regular interval throughout the year but are seasonal in its respect. The duration of heat period will range from 1 to 3 days and 75% of ewes remain in heat for 21 to 39 hours. The gestation period will vary from 142 to 152 days, with an average of 147 days. Feeding for the sheep. The sheep requires about 1 to 2 kg of leguminous hay per day depending on the age of sheep and its body weight. Protein may be supplemented through the concentrates which as groundnut cake, sesame cake or safflower cake. When the pastures are poor in legumes or when the scarcity condition prevail. Then another one of the farming system in prices is poultry. Poultry is one of the fastest growing food industry in the world. Poultry meat accounts for about 27% of the total meat consumption the worldwide, and its consumption is the growing at an average of 5% annually. Breedings, the specific poultry stocks are egg and boiler production are available. A majority of the stocks used for the egg production are crosses involving in the strains of inbreed lines of white leghorn. To a limited extent, other breeds like Rhodes Ireland Red, then California Grey are used. Heavy breeds such as white plymouth cock, white Cornish and New Hampshire are used for the crossbreed boiler chickens. Housing for the poultry, this adequate space should be provided for the birds. Floor area of the about 0.2 to meter 2 per adult birds is adequate for light breeding such as white leghorn. About 0.3 to 0.4 meter cube area should be required. Feed, the feed conversion efficiency of the bird is far superior to other animals. About 60 to 70% of the total expenditure on poultry farming is split on the poultry feed. Maintenance, the chicken must be vaccinated against Ranichet disease with F1 strain and vaccine within the first 6 to 7 days of age. Hence, may be required for 1 year for the production, that is up to the age of 1.5 years. After that, they are disposed of for the table purpose. Beekeeping, one of the enterprises to relate agriculture. Beekeeping is one of the most important agro-based industries which does not require raw material from the artisan like other industries. Nectar and pollen from flowers are the straw material which are available in plenty in nature. The species, there are two important species for beekeeping. There is Apis cerana and Apis mellifera are complementary to each other but have different adaptations. Apis cerana is a better acclimatization to higher altitudes of the Himalayan regions. Mellifera is more profitable in the plains. Management for the beekeeping. The beekeepers should be familiar with the source of nectar and pollen within the locality. The most important source of nectar and pollen are maize, great millet means jawar, and bluish, then sunflower and plum. The brinker should start within with 2 and not more than 5 colonies. A minimum of two colonies in recommended because in the event of some mischief such as the loss of the queen according occurring in one, so advantages may be taken with other. Honeybee honey collection. So honey should be should have good quality to meet the national and international standards. So qualities such as aroma, color, consistency, and floral resources are important. Proper honey staining and processing are the needed to improve the quality of the produce. Hence, honey is the excellent energy food with an average of about 305 3500 calories per kg. It is the directly absorbed into the human blood stream and required no digestion. Then another one, the business, that is the mushroom cultivation. Mushroom is an edible fungi with a great diversified in a shape, size, and color. The essentiality mushroom is a vegetable that cultivated in a protected farm in a high sanitized atmosphere just like other. This vegetables mushroom contains 90% moisture with high in quality proteins. The types of mushroom: oyster mushroom, pleurotus species, then milky mushroom, the Calcebus indica, then button mushroom, Agaricus bisporus. Biogas plant, also one of the resource. Biogas is a clean, unpolluted, and cheap source of energy which can be obtained by a simple mechanism and little investment. The gas is generated from the cow dung during anaerobic decomposition. Biogas generation is a complex biochemical process. Types of biogas plants that float dome type. Different models are available in the categories. The, for example, KVIC, vertical and horizontal, Pragati model, Ganesh model, etc. Fixed dome type. The gas plant is a dome shaped underground construction. The masonry gas is a holder is an integrated part of a digester called a dome. The gas produced in the digester collected and in the dome the vertical pressure by displacement of a slurry in inlet or outlet. The size the size of biogas plant is desiccated by the number of family members and the availability of cattle. 1 cubic meter capacity plant will need 2 to 3 animals and 25 kg of dung. The site selection and management. The site should be close to the kitchen or the place of use. It will reduce the cost of gas distribution system. It should also be near to the cattle shed to reduce the cost of transportation of cattle dung. Land should be leveled and slightly above the ground level to avoid the inflow of a runoff of water. Plants should get clear sunshine during the most part of the day. The gas production would be maximum at a temperature between 30 to 35 degrees Celsius. If the ambient temperature fall down 10 degrees Celsius, gas production reduce drastically. Biogas slurry is obtained after the production of biogas. It is an enriched manure. Another positive aspects of this manure is that even after weeks of explore to the atmosphere, the slurry does not attract flies and worms. So we have to discuss all about this efficient cropping system and allied enterprises in that topic. So I hope all of you useful this lecture. Thank you very much.